Hi, everybody. Me again. I've got a lot of important things I want to say to you. Again, words. Lots of words. I'm going to be reading from a paper and not reading off teleprompter because it's just me and you. Just me and you. So it doesn't matter if I am looking down at something or flub a word or two. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So, yeah. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to read a few pages to you. And it's going to sound like it has nothing to do with what we do here. You know, speeches and skits and whatever. More or less related to the Lamentations of the Flame Princess weird fantasy role-playing game. But when I'm done reading it, I'll explain to you where it came from and what exactly the relevance might be. And then we'll do a few other fun things after that. But yeah, this has been bugging me for a couple weeks now, and finally just pulled the stuff out of storage so I can, justify having spent all this money on videos I almost never make, or something like that. Yeah. That's how we get started. Oh, great. The paper is going up more in the sound meter than my voice is, so... We are professionals here. Okay. Heavy metal is the greatest music on earth, but the metal scene sucks. If you're a casual metal fan, please ignore all of this and get on to the reviews and the interviews. If you're just a curious non-metal fan who has picked up the zine in the store, wonder where this came from, you've stumbled upon the work of an absolute fanatic who believes in a form of music which is on its greatest level emotionally involving, intellectually stimulating, and technically gifted. The lack of metal exposure in the mainstream has forced the metal genres underground, and it has stayed there so long that the people involved in the underground are operating as if they are on some other planet unconnected to the real world. Oh, if you're a member of this vaunted metal underground, count to 10 slowly, because I am about to piss you off. The underground scene is the most pitiful excuse for a musical movement that can ever, and I mean ever, be imagined. Most pitiful excuse for a musical movement that can ever, and I mean ever, be imagined. See what I meant about flubbing lines? Anyway. Who are our heroes? Why? Over the past 6 months, it has been pretty much demanded and required of some to go back to the 70s and 80s to learn about the bands of those times. Required of me to go back to the 70s and 80s to learn about the bands of those times, as I've said some pretty ignorant things in issues 1 through 3. I apologize for being ignorant, but at the time I meant what I said. Ozzy still sucks. In fact, he sucks worse for the fact that horrible festival of hard pop music Ozfest bears his name. To hell with each and every band on that bill, as not one has any relevance to the heavy metal today. None. Sabbath? You didn't see the progenitors of heavy metal on stage. What you saw was a museum piece being packaged up and let out of the box for 2 hours a night. All indications are that Ozzy is a befuddled and enfeebled old man, Iommi was sleepwalking through it all, and the other guys who looked happy just to be on stage. How many non-Ozzy era tunes got played? Sabbath with Ozzy was never any good. But they're past the point of even being a joke now. And all of the opening bands, I'd only consider Primus of being worthy of any attention. They're not metal, I happen to not like them, but they are an actual creative unit that deserves their success. Who else was opening? Fear Factory? I own all of the recordings, and I defy anyone to deny that they are all disappearing up Dino's fat ass. And when someone's ass is bigger than my huge rump, that is truly a fat ass. Very relevant to music. Slayer was on that bill too. Oh, here we go. Slayer apparently were the ones to introduce a number of very important concepts into metal. Apparently. Too bad they couldn't disappear after their only good album, Seasons of the Abyss, in 1990. They have zero relevance circa 1999. And they have all of 2 good songs pre-Seasons. They are not needed, especially not now. I maintain that Iron Maiden and Judas Priest are the biggest hopes for heavy metal into the new millennium. Not because their albums will be better than any underground band, not because they are some sort of revered veterans, but because they are the most likely to release albums of musical significance that will be reasonably well promoted, and they are most likely to stick to their guns and not appeal to the baggy pants kids. Korn, Limp Bizkit, and whoever else are having their day in the sun. But like grunge and alternative before it, they too will fade, and that day can't come too soon. I'll have no problem with Korn surviving to the end of time as long as all the imitators just die. One is valid, one is enough, more than that, and they should just all go blow. Even if Maiden and Priest release albums that sound exactly like, say, Peace of Mind and Screaming for Vengeance respectively, and become self-parodies, fine. Just to influence some more adult children to really play their guitars and wear clothes that fit. The only people who should wear pants with huge legs are those with huge legs to fill those pants. And I know fashion has nothing to do with music really, but tell me this whole Korn thing and baggy pants are not connected. Who do we listen to? Why does the underground suck? Because of all of this horrible I can do this too way of thinking. Every new band that forms destroys the fan base. And the scene further, as money that would have gone into CDs and shirts and concert tickets are now spent on guitars, amps, pay-to-play, etc. And I will give the scene the benefit of the doubt and say only 1 in 100 bands is really any good at all. And then fans are spending money on these new shitty bands, further diluting the scene. CDs don't sell, clubs don't book the bands, and deservedly so. Bands play a show or 3 before thinking about a demo. Hell, have a following before trying to get signed. To record a demo to get the name out there is to be a shitty scene-killing band. You need to be better than your influences and or have something different to offer when you record your demo. Cheap production and packaging is understandable on a self-released demo product. Shitty half-assed derivative, look ma, I'm in a band, hurts us all. I don't hate Cannibal Corpse, Suffocation, etc. per se. I hate them for what they've inspired. And bands have no work ethic. They just fade into the scene and think because 1,000 people heard their demo that they're for real. Fuck off. There are over 250 million people in this nation alone. Why are you trying to reach the less than 50,000 interested in extreme music? If that's all you get interested in your music, fine. And most metal won't get beyond that anyway. But why are you not even interested in the bigger picture? The metal underground first came into existence because of a need for music that mainstream culture would not and could not handle. But the goal was always to take over the world. The metal underground today strives to stay unsuccessful and minor league. Bands today no longer want to be on the cover of Rolling Stone. They dream of being ridiculed in the grimoire of exalted deeds. The metal scene does not behoove intelligence or ambition. Therefore, most of the ambition and or intelligent people get the hell out. Who do we buy from? Small labels blow goats as well. Why are labels formed? For the same reason bands are, to be part of the scene. So once the label is formed, I guarantee you that bands are selected more to just have something to release than they are. Selected more to have something to release than they are because they deserve to be released. If a label can't completely finance the recording, if a label can't put advertising in all the key areas, if a label can't provide support for their bands to tour, that label should not exist. There are some labels I love to death, but they can't promote their bands at all, so at this point they're not really much more than glorified demo distributors. You know what else is very, very silly? Labels that expect you to kiss their ass in order to get promos or ads. That fucking kills me. True, gore metal zines shouldn't be getting the latest prog metal releases, and heavy metal fanzines shouldn't get the latest in black metal, but it gets really silly. I called up once a week, every week for a month to Metal Blade, asking for interviews with In Extremo and or Labyrinth. Each and every week. Nope, interviews dates aren't set yet, but what do you think of Goddess of Desire? What do you think of Engine? I'm a pussy, so I didn't say, they fucking sucked. But I did say I didn't like them. And they act offended. I'm calling to ask for interviews with 2 of their bands, and they're giving me grief for not liking 2 other bands on their label. What shit is that? Who do we learn from? Metal journalism sucks. Either mindless dolts are writing magazines, or they are not giving their true opinions and support the scene instead of quality. So liars and or morons run things on the information end. Isn't that wonderful? Who has the balls to tell it like it is? When 99% of the scene is bullshit, you'll notice that the most fanatic and true supporters are negative, critical, and pessimistic about the scene. Then divide that up to account for varying tastes. You can count on one hand the amount of magazines out there worth reading. I am in a precarious position because I want to bring my viewpoints, my personal vision of the truth, to as many people as possible. I don't like the idea of only reaching the people who agree with me already, to have a little inbred celebration. Dissent in Istin's only faults, I think, are that they preach to the converted. 10,000 copies of LOTFP are printed and shipped all over the place. Well, I gave that away where this is from. 10,000 copies of LOTFP are printed and shipped all over the place in an effort to get a more casual fan to pick it up, and it is not cheap. I am broke. So I depend on labels advertising to pay for it, and labels to send promos to hear anything. I don't like doing that, and I would rather not deal with promos and or advertising, but I don't have a choice. I do appreciate the labels advertising and sending in their product for review consideration. When it comes time to review, you get my honest opinion. Century Media had a page and a half of advertising last issue, bless them. And in that same issue, I tanked every single one of their releases but one in the reviews. Why? They sucked. This time things are better for them, much to my relief, as I don't like shitting all over CDs the labels are advertising, but to compromise opinions for that, well, defeats the entire purpose of the zine. Name any other zine that will tell it like it is, and you will be naming an excellent zine. Show me another zine with the ratio of negative reviews within its pages as mine. I make things more than difficult for myself as far as getting ads and promos that way, but in the end, when you see something with that 4-star plus in those reviews, you know they stand apart in this scene. Whether they are to your taste, well, that's why you have to read the rest of the zine to figure that out. I am committed to the monthly format through December, and then I think I'm going to go to a quarterly format again. These thin mags don't stroke my ego enough, and I can't pay for 64 pages every month. And I really have to stop with this be like metal maniacs and feature every band you possibly can mentality. You, the reader, can tell which bands really move me by their interviews. And if you can tell a band doesn't move me, that interview should not be there. Period. My ambition to write and be important to the scene is clouding my ability to effectively promote what I think is the best in metal. It's my goal, if I really like a band but have no emotional connection to it, to give it a good review and not be tempted to do an interview. My best work is that which is heartfelt and customized to the bands. There are too many cookie-cutter interviews out there. Mine don't need to be added to the pile. And really, I can't be the next Metal Maniacs all by myself anyway. So how do you choose which publications are best for you to read? Similar taste in music is only step one. Look for true criticism in reviews and interviews. The willingness to piss all over things that need to be pissed all over, whether they're labels or advertising or not. I have no allegiance to the scene. I have allegiance to the creative bands and worthwhile people currently working within the scene. People with allegiance to a scene will accept and promote whatever is offered to them as long as that is part of the scene, never mind if it's a gob of shit or not. If a band has a friend in it, it doesn't matter how god-awful terrible the music is. They go to the shows and tell people to check out this crappy band just because one of their friends is in it. Is this music or is this a social club? I'm guilty of some of that, barely. But I'm not stupid about it. As I go to press, Lilitu has found out that the mix to their debut album bites. Are they going to take an extra couple of months and get it right? They should, but they're thinking of using an alternate mix that they previously discarded, saying, it's not that bad. If they release that, even I don't want to be around when they see what I'd write in my review. People just can't be honest anymore. And then there's always trouble when people confuse the need for alternative lifestyles to embrace behavior rejected by mainstream culture versus embracing all sorts of fucked up behavior just because mainstream culture rejects it, justifiably or not. That's all over the metal underground. Fuck the goddamn underground. Those with brains know we work within the underground because we have to, not because the underground is any special thing. I don't like being cut off from the rest of the world, you know. I would love to turn on MTV or click on the local rock station and hear Blind Guardian, Opeth, Nile, or Emperor. I love when people complain about the corporate labels like Nuclear Blast and Century Media. I laugh and laugh and laugh at you idiots. And then I cry. How many acts on these labels, be it Propane, Stuck Mojo, Hammerfall, or The Gathering, do you think sell even 25,000 copies of their records in the US? Count them on one hand. How much of their roster sell under 10,000 copies? The vast majority. And people cut down the labels for selling out and being corporate. No wonder anybody with any ambition separates themselves from the metal underground. Those who listen to underground music are not in any way special. Those who listen to what they like without regard to what others think of it, those people are special. Whether they truly like Opeth, or Cannibal Corpse, or Elton John, or NSYNC. I know there are people that hate this zine. Why would they do that? I know there are people out there who hate this zine. Maybe more people hate it than like it. Fine. I speak the truth as I see it. People complain that if I don't like something, fine, don't write about it. I don't work that way. By pointing out what I think is wrong, even if you truly disagree with everything I say, and there's steam shooting out your ears over it, you're thinking about it, and maybe it is strengthening your resolve for the scene. Fine, but you're thinking about it. Far too many people don't think about it. That is wrong. This is going off on a tangent, but people don't want to criticize anymore. They only want to hear happy things. This is why the world is fucked up. politics to religion to race relations to business to justice to music. Nobody can take criticism. Nobody wants to hear the truth. Nobody wants blame placed anywhere, and certainly not on themselves. The idiots, morons, and people content to stagnate won't ever admit what they're doing is strangling the metal scene. And so there is the need for people like me. At least I have the balls to call things as I see them. Took some balls to write that sentence, Jesus Christ. So I get called Satanist, Christian, liberal, conservative, repressed, decadent, fascist, individualist. Whatever the person I've pissed off is against. Perspective is so funny sometimes. I teary up for no reason. Like literally something in my eye. But no cuts, we're going to continue on. Anyway, that, in case you didn't catch on, was me writing for my own publication, The Lamentations of the Flame Princess heavy metal zine. I'm guessing the year 1999 because I mentioned the year 1999. So that would have been 24 years ago. I'm 48 now, so I would have been 24 then. So that was... So I am now literally a whole entire other life in addition to what I was then. And, by the way, this was sent to me by an old reader who was like looking for copies of the old zine, which I really don't have. But they attached this bit that they said that they had transcribed and spread around to people, and then they sent it to me. And I have to say, reading how I wrote and how I thought a whole other lifetime ago, I mean, literally, it's been a whole other life. It's a bit embarrassing. And you see, I couldn't read all this with a straight face to you now. It is a bit embarrassing because it's just like, oh, I was full of myself, and oh, that's ignorant, or oh man, I'm insane, and but I'd better be able to say that about my whole other life ago. I mean, let's face it. If someone had pulled out writing from half my life ago, and it was something that's just like, yeah, that's perfect. I had perfected my writing and my thinking even then. That would pretty much mean that the past half-life hasn't given me anything. There would have been no growth, no little tiny bit of greater wisdom, the experience of actually living should be important. It should have an effect on how you live and how you think. So it's actually a very good thing that I'm looking back at half my life ago and thinking, I would have said all that much differently. I still see myself in there a lot. I mean, I can remember. I remember why I think each of these things. And it's, yeah. And the things that I don't think anymore, I know exactly why I don't think them anymore. So it's not so much just looking back and thinking, what was wrong with me? It's just more looking back and thinking, I'm glad I'm somewhere else now, which I should be. And so that acknowledgement is one of the reasons why I wanted to read it to you. Because then I was thinking, like, how I am now, I think I have all the right answers. I know how I should be. I know what I should be doing. But if by some great miracle I make it to 96, a whole other life from now, I would hope that I look back at everything I'm doing and see myself in it and understand what I was doing, but also thinking, what the fuck were you thinking, dude? Or else the next 48 years of my life aren't telling me anything. And but some of the things brought up in this piece, I don't know, on one hand, I'm very glad I'm not this person, and I think I'm thinking better. On the other hand, I'm jealous of this person. The young, dumb, and full of cum kind of thing. Because, I mean, I am broke. I never made money from the zine. It was just me pumping money in. At least I had the honesty to say that doing certain things aren't going to puff up my ego enough, because the zine was a matter of, I don't like what's popular in the metal scene, and oh my god, I'm reading all these magazines and stuff that are just, someone's got to show them how to do it right. And it was all about putting my perspective, no matter how limited and ignorant it was, the things I loved, I wanted to let other people know about it. And the things I hated, I apparently wanted to let people know about that too. But it's like I didn't see me out in this metal scene, really. So it was just a matter of that's got to change. I'm here, that has to matter. So I'm going to carve out this little space. And because there was I had to cover the cost of the zine because I was just working shitty. I was working at a 1999. I would have been working at a survey company. Commercial surveys. Business to business, kind of polling company. And it's like, it didn't pay anything. I was barely keeping afloat, but all I needed to do was. And I pumped all my money into this zine just so I thought I could make the metal scene. Well, at the time I thought I would make it a better place, but it was just hoping to connect with or convince people to see things my way. So when I stepped out my door into the metal world, it would be something I'm more comfortable with. And some things are constant because that's what everyone else was doing too. And it's the same in role-playing. The social forces and the people that don't feel like they belong in what the mainstream role-playing is, they get angry and they lash out in unproductive ways. And on one hand, if I won the lottery, would I just become the big raging asshole trying to get my way because I don't have to care if it affects sales? Would I be able to put my foot down and have more of an influence? Would that be a good idea? Or would I just be mental? Would I just be a mental asshole to do that? It's even now. I mean, for example, for Gen Con, I'm putting together the booklet. The catalog is going to be a booklet again, and I'm designing the entire thing. We're going to pass this out to hopefully thousands of people at the convention, and it's designed to repulse people. The hope is that there are some weirdos out there and that it hits them exactly. Oh, this is my thing. My goodness, what booth was this? No one's doing stuff like this. But I expect most people to just be like, what the fuck? Because it doesn't do me any good to be in a role-playing environment that doesn't reflect anything of how I feel or what I want. But that's what everyone else thinks as well. And some are being more successful right now in creating that environment for themselves. And it's just so unfortunate they're not matching my tastes. But it's as I just think, what if I stopped caring? I mean, I've been trying to care less and less. But in the end, I'm think I'm more reasonable with not starting fights with people online, and things like that. Not stewing in negativity and doing these videos about the stupid thing that happened on the internet yesterday in role playing and just marinating in that kind of negativity. But isn't it the people that do that have the influence? That it's not enough to just say, here's the new book, and you like it or you don't. That doesn't create influence. And this stuff, this bugs me, because back in this day, I mean, there were people that really liked what I was doing, that really believed in it. On the other hand, I read this and think, how did I not get my ass kicked? But, I've never gotten a death threat in my time in role-playing. Even all the stuff that's happened, nobody has ever told me that they wanted to or were going to kill me. I did get a death threat in my metal zine days. Someone left a message on my machine. I better watch what I say or I'm going to get my throat slit. And I would play that to everyone that came over. It's like, look, I got a death threat. Had record label people and musicians emailing me going, what the fuck, you son of a bitch. One classic band singer told me if he ever saw me in the crowd, he was going to piss on my head. So, I've always been a popular guy, but there were also people that would read this and be like, yeah, I've never seen anyone say this, but yeah. So, yeah, it's a thing. How aggressive should you be? How stuck in the morass of everything going on do you need to be to have any real influence? If I just sit here and publish books, sometimes it feels like it doesn't matter what the book is, because all of the releases of a release cycle sell more or less the same. And it's like, really? There's something wrong there, because even I recognize the quality of the books that I release are not all the same. And I'm sure people notice that, but the ones that are greater quality, the past few years aren't moving in much appreciable quantities more than the ones that maybe aren't the most spectacular releases. That's fucking bizarre to me, and there's something wrong there. And so I think about how I was then, and how at the very least, even if I wasn't, I don't know, I want to say I wasn't acting in the most productive manner, but the people responded. It's just like these days I can go to any city, in the Western world at least, and a couple in the Eastern, and I would know somebody there that hopefully they like my stuff, but they buy it. I could go anywhere with that. And it used to be for heavy metal, it used to be the same thing. No matter where I'd go, people would know who I was. And that's, I don't know, it's interesting having that very, very minor fame. But perhaps related to talking about the influence and this and that, little bit before, someone sent me back some of my own old writing, I received a bit of, I'll call it fan mail, and I asked for permission to read it, and they said I can say that this mail was from the OGM, because that's apparently how they go online. But let me read this to you, and this is verbatim, and I should have less problem stumbling over words, because one of the features of my old zine days is there was never any copy editing. And apparently this person just copied things as is, because lots of repeated lines and misspelled words, but I found this email to be a little bit better put together. Okay. Oh, and this was concerning the January 1st Proud to Commit Commercial Suicide video. So, I know I'm a few months behind the times. I've never really been a part of the OSR scene. I only just found the video through Jeff Reins' blog. James, you are one of my heroes for the work that you have done and the writing that you have put out. I know those dark places of the mind you describe in the video and the effect it can have on your art. I know what it's like to feel like there's no place in the scene. That's why I'm grateful to you and LOTFP for putting your vision out there. It was truly a revelation for me. No matter what toll the drama takes, it's all worth it. The best thing you can do is keep publishing. Well, actually, the best thing you can do is take care of yourself. That's a parenthetical in there. There are so many great unconventional stories to be told with this medium. I use it for tales of 19th century corpse snatchers, authentic medical history that is truly horrific, and injections of the weird and preternatural that explain the rot at the heart of the Western world. Just want to let you know that there are human beings out here struggling to cope in a world driven insane, against which the only rational reaction is depression and suicide, that are given hope by you and what you have accomplished. Fuck all the haters. You're not doing it for them. There are those of us who appreciate you and will continue to support LOTFP. That's a hell of a fan letter, isn't it? And yeah, I don't know. I just thought the two make little interesting companion pieces, 24 years apart, what I was saying and what someone said to me. And, as I'm putting the new stuff together, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's a hell of a thing doing this job, because you want to make the most fun thing possible. But fun as well. Videos I did 6 months ago now. Jesus, that long. Yeah, fun means different things to different people, and somehow my idea of fun is someone else's existential crisis or someone else's faith in the world. And it's like, should any of this stuff be what you're thinking about, or what people are going to think about themselves, if you're trying to write about music or just trying to do some make-believe? It's amazing. This is what the social reality is, when all you're trying to do is get away from reality. Because that's what it is. I mean, back in my music zine days, I remember like one of the slogans, which I still believe today, is that music is better than people. And that is like whatever you're interested in. It's like that thing that takes you away. I put on the headphones and listen to a great album. It's like, fuck the world. This is everything. Or this is everything. And I'm hoping when I'm writing something, or if, someone that's writing to be published by me, that I hope they have that feeling in mind, that what I'm doing right here is everything. I mean, Fuck the whole rest of the world. It doesn't exist. This is the thing. So hopefully that's the approach people are taking. And hopefully, you know, and I'm running a business. I'm operating a business that has to have a certain profit, and I worry sometimes that real core sometimes gets lost. And I know if it does, you know it. You know it. Because when you pay your money, you know when you're getting the real deal. Even if you hate it, even if you don't like it, even if it's something that's not for you and you ended up with it, you'll recognize when it's the real thing, and you'll recognize when it's not. And that's the one thing that's bad about this being a business. I mean, when there is a hit book, when there is a book that's successful, it feels like I've done such a service to the world. And yeah. But if only I didn't have to care about that. Win the lottery and then not care what the reaction is. Put out books made of fucking gold. Who cares if it sells a copy? I would know. This is the thing. And I never have to worry about whether I'm releasing this for purposes other than just the utmost quality. Yeah. I don't know. Reality. No wonder I want to get away from it so much. So I think I'm rambling a bit now, but I think that music is more important than people. A lot of the things I was complaining about back in the day, not processing it as I now think I should have, not being productive in my criticisms or how I express them, but a lot of these things are real and apply to the current role-playing scene. I mean, some of these things I don't so much agree about. Like, everyone should try it. Everyone should try doing their thing. You know, sure, your shitty little thing will dilute the scene, but it's about your expression, not other people's commercial market share. I don't know. I mean, I see what I was saying. I just think it's a bit wrong-headed. Every single person out there, every single one of you listening to this, watching this, should make something on your own for public consumption. This is a gaming channel, even though I'm talking about metal or shit. If you can play an instrument, make music for other people to hear. If you're in role-playing, make your adventure, your game. Do it. And if anyone else has a problem with it, somebody's got to, bug up their ass that you've released your thing, and who cares if it's not any good? Who cares? That's not the point. The point is your expression. If you are good, well, be encouraged to do more. If it's no good, well, at least this isn't what you should be doing with your life, but you did it. You did it. So, yeah, that's the big change. So, yeah, I'm sure before when I was running through all this in my head before the red light went on, I'm sure I had some other greater point, but it's gone. So, yeah. Now, I could just turn this off and go do all that work I really need to be doing right now. But a little earlier tonight, I got a package delivery. And it's exciting because I don't know what it is. I mean, there are several things I know it could be, but I don't know exactly what it is. And so I thought, why not open it on camera? See? Just do it. Doesn't matter if it's any good. I'm being a video producer, and I had the idea of unboxing an unknown package. Is it interesting? Is it any good? Is it worth your time watching me do it? I don't care. So let's see what we've got. Now, I'm going to guess from the shape of the box it's one of the CD orders I made after the last release cycle. Did pretty well. You know, not the top of the mountain again, but, you know, didn't do shit. So, didn't do shitty. So I, you know, pretty much have to just make my CD orders around those times instead of throughout the year like I used to. But the labels are all covered up. So I don't know what this is. So, and since I'm not going to edit, hopefully it's nothing too embarrassing. Did I order any sex toys or anything? I hope not. You know, I don't want to go, bzzz. Oh, I know what this order is. So, yeah. This is how I procrastinate. I was thinking sometimes that, like, I should enroll in like, university classes or just get myself an office job just so I can work more productively on the role-playing stuff. So I tell you that there's nothing I like doing more than not what I'm exactly supposed to be doing. Remember that first version of the creature generator, the first role-playing publication I ever made, that was written when I was in language class supposed to be learning Swedish and Finnish. But instead I was, you know. Anyway, yeah, so what else? So let's see what this is. It is CDs. And it is... from Sound Cave, Roberto Mammarella. Okay, from Italy. Okay, I know what this is. Oh, yeah, Sound Cave. That's avant-garde music. He's still running the business. Yeah. He's a musician himself in the 90s, releasing Monumentum in Absentia Christi. This is his band. Now I'm a bit nervous because I know avant-garde music releases, or not, well, I don't know releases, but they do sell some sketchy shit. So, and I try to vet when I order from underground labels and things like that. I try to vet that I'm not getting anything too, like, what the fuck are these people? But I don't know, you know. It's just a cursory, you know. Is it a talking point that these people are, you know, total shitheads? And if not, it's like, oh, okay, there's my vetting done. So I'm sure I'm going to pull out a CD here that someone's going to say, well, actually, you are a horrible person for supporting them. I don't care. Anyway, what have we got here? Okay. This is the one that I was, what caused me to make the order, because I had this on pre-order. Sure, I'm gonna completely wreck how you say the band, but Dudheimsgard, Black Medium Current, their new album. And so, you know, you can't just buy one thing at a record store, you know. So, what else did I end up buying? What else? Anachronism, Senseless. Don't remember why I would have picked that one out, honestly. And Oceans, as in gardens, so in tombs. This is a Finnish band. I've got their first 2 albums, I think, that I like, and then they went, I don't know, a bit I don't know the term, industrial or techno aren't technically correct, but too many electronic noises. And I got no idea if they still did, but it's like, oh, the new Finnish band's out. Let's get that. So we'll see. What's this? Dream Unending, Song of Salvation. Can't remember for the life of me why I decided that was something to get. But, you know, when I'm going through the catalogs here, I got YouTube going, so I must have liked about 10 seconds of it, because that's how I make a determination. Another Dream Unending, I must have really liked them. Tide Turns Eternal. So I encourage all of you to go to YouTube and wonder what the hell was I thinking. Oh yeah, Doomraiser. Doomraiser, The Dark Side of Old Europa. I think this is their latest album. Cool Doomraiser story. Back in 2009? Spring of 2009, late spring, me and my now ex-wife, we went to Rome, you know, just to do a tourist thing for a few days. You know, I'd never been to Italy, and so it was neat seeing the Colosseum and all the stuff. But there was this doom metal festival going on in the basement of a bar while we were there, and one of the headliners was Doomraiser. I remember my ex, she was most amused because it didn't occur to her that metalheads would be the same in Italy as they were in Finland, because I'd already brought her to a few shows there too in Finland. And it's the same sort of reaction she would later have when she started going to the RPG conventions, that role players in Finland and Germany and England and the US, interchangeable. Really. That's an outsider thinking that. What did I have here? Oh, Shining, Swedish Shining. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce Swedish, so I'll just flash that up there. Yeah. Swedish Shining. What's this? Another Anachronism CD. I must have liked how they sounded a lot too. Meanders. Okay, this is scintillating YouTube stuff, isn't it? Okay, I know what the next few are going to be. The next few are all going to be from a band called Virus, because I saw they had their back catalog that I did not have. I only had their most recent album, so here's Virus's Carhartt. Virus's, what is this called? The Agent That Shapes the Desert, with a bonus disc of pre-production demos, 2009. I'm sure pre-production demos will be fascinating to listen to. Virus Oblivion Clock. And Virus The Black Flux. And, okay. No flyers or anything that'll get me in trouble, or stickers or free stuff they throw in just to say, hey, please pay attention to this. And that's where you really get in trouble, because at least those I have to take responsibility for buying them, because, oh no, if you buy a bad CD, then you're an irresponsible person that's made the world worse or something. I used to think that, but not for the same... Not the same motivations of thinking something is bad that other people did, although I thought that was bad too back then. Anyway, I'm rambling. Yeah, I guess I gotta get back to work, but not yet. I gotta put all the equipment away. I gotta load this video into the computer, so I'll be good for another hour of, not having to do any actual stuff. But thank you for listening. Hopefully, there's something. I don't know how long I've been recording at this point, but hopefully there is something that is interesting or thought-provoking, or something that inspires you to say something more coherent about the subject than what I've done here. But I don't know. If I had taken that stuff and created like a scripted video talking to you essay about things and it was concise, number one, I fear it would be fake because I see people that do that on the internet and the language they use, not authentic. And on the other hand, if I'm going to sit down and seriously write something, it shouldn't be this. If I was going to sit down and write, it would either have to be because like a serious issue like the drive-through stuff that was going on, or, you know, it's not just because, hey, someone sent me some old stuff and I have thoughts about it, let's write an essay. No. You know, if I was going to write, yeah. Hopefully you'll be back to funny skits sooner or later. I like doing those. I know they're kind of besides the point of what anyone wants to see from a Lamentations YouTube channel, but I like doing them, so there'll be more of those. Fuck off. Trademark Mike Evans. Yeah. So, I don't know when I'll be doing the next video, so I do want to point out I will be at the North Texas RPG Convention, flying there end of May. I think it starts June 1st. So I'll be there with stuff to sell and running games. I don't know what slots are open and stuff. I don't pay attention to any of that. Then, of course, Ropicon here in Helsinki, end of July, and Gen Con in August. We are putting together potentially 19 things. That includes a few reprints now. We're doing a couple more reprints. Potentially, depending on what gets done in time, 19 new things. Some of them experimental, some of them stuff that's been out there for a long time just getting done, but this is looking like a... Yeah, this is looking like a convergence of stars. Is that a saying? I don't know. So, oh yeah, and we've now got our Instagram page back. We were having some sort of weird technical glitches that apparently had to do with my phone, even though I was having the same problems on my last, but whatever, after almost 3 years, we've got our Instagram page back, instagram.com/LOTFP, and we're going to, you know, over the next little while, just not so much news, although it's another place to put news, but, you know, showcasing old art and being something like you can show somebody. It's like, look at what Lamentations is. So hopefully that'll be a useful thing to spend some time on, and, oh shit, I've been here like over an hour. Hopefully that's not how long the video is. So, I'll leave it there. Good night. Buy some of my stuff.